You are now live.
We up?
We are.
Well, like I said, we are SOS dancers. We formed like in '88. We did a bunch of videos. We were in a Heavy D video. We got our own thing with the mop tops. The only thing they had us wear these masks, so you couldn't see our faces.
Couldn't even see the faces, right?
But there's actually a pretty a legendary photo of that day that Ernie took.
Canicoli.
Yes. In his book, I Shot You, the one with Heavy D's there, and there's like 6 dudes in like bird masks. Like
that's
so
you.
Yeah, me. It's me. I Truth, Mop Tops, and Donovan. So yeah, that was going on for like maybe like 2 years, and then like in '90, in the like summer of '90, we connected with Sadat and Jamal because they had they were looking for dancers for their show at the Car Wash, aka Quando's. This is a spot that we were going to already in 1990. It's actually where KRS-One shot his live
My
album.
Philosophy.
He came out with the BDP Worldwide album.
Right.
It was a live album, and he shot some at SOBs. The beginning of it is from Quando's, and then I think another one in London. So this was like a amazing place as well, another important hip hop spot to go to.
And where was Quando's?
It was in on 2nd Avenue, right above Houston, between Houston and First. It was like an old abandoned it was like a gym in the back, it was like a band, but it was like a whole gym in the background with the courts, with the basketball, the rim up, and it was just old, you know what I mean? But they made it into a venue, and I seen Ultramagnetics, Lord Finesse, first time I seen him there, like Coogee Rap. It was, the list was long, and actually, what's funny is that we performed there with Curious George. Curious George. Wow. So that was actually our first dancing for a hip hop artist on stage, and then we connected with Brand Nubian later at the same venue, and we met Puba the day of. Actually, we were rehearsing in PAL, and Sadat and Lord Jamal came down to check us out. We did the routines for them, and they were like, "I bet," you know what I'm saying, and we did the show for them.
Who would choreograph your routines?
It would be me and I Truth were the main choreographers, and then my boy Tim. We would just do our dance moves that we do. We just put them together, and that's a good thing you asked, man, because that was like I felt like was one of my strong points as a dancer, was more choreography, more like a written song, you know what I mean, instead of like a freestyle going out doing something. We would take elements of that and then add it to our routines. But just about structure and putting things together, and I took pride in doing that, because I didn't go to school for it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was
people are legendary for their ability to choreograph,
right? Not
just to dance, but to actually choreograph.
Right.
So y'all perform at Quando's with Brand Nubian. Y'all kill it, I assume.
Yeah.
And then what happens from there?
Then the album is. They have another show coming up, a showcase, which was called Hard to the Left at Kilimanjaro's, which featured all the electro artists. It was a showcase for all the new electro artists at the time. So it was leaders of the new school, KMD, Brand Nubian, P-Rock, and CO Smooth. It was a crazy night, man. It was like one of those nights, those New York nights, when everybody was in the house. It was just packed from wall to wall. And even even when Brand Nubian came out, they were actually probably I think they already had a couple singles out. Would Feel So Good. They were the most anticipated.
So this was before Wake Up.
You know what? Okay, there we go. Wake Up happened. That's right. It's Wake Up.
Feel So Good was before Wake Up.
Yes.
Yeah, and Wake Up was really the second single, but it was the first one that really popped. Feel So Good didn't really pop like that.
A funny story is that we were invited to go to that, we didn't know them at the time. We knew the dancers, female dancers that were in that video were part, kind of rock with us. they were dancing with them in the video.
And Wake Up.
And no,
and Feel So
Feel
Good.
So Good.
Right.
And I think they had invited us to come up, and we were like, at that time we was already like doing mad videos.
Because y'all was like, who's these cats?
Exactly.
Like, who the fuck is Brand Nubian? Right.
And then it was like a mission for wherever it was at. Like we would have to jump on somewhere. I don't know where it was filmed, but that happened. So now Wake Up happens. We're after the car wash. I think Wake Up happens, and yes, that's what happens. We filmed Wake Up when they're law school in Mecca. They got it like they got a room for us in there, which was pretty ill, man. I'm just like. One of the older guys, because later on I began to study in the 5%, and at that time I wasn't even really aware. I was just dancing. I'm coming to dance,
right?
And I'm in the main,
right? You in a law school,
Mecca,
right?
Like nobody can just walk up in there,
right?
Just,
right?
So they had like a room for us to change and stuff like that. It was a great day, man, and and then Hard to the Left showcase happens
right after
in November. Before the album drops, because the album dropped December 4th, 1990, the Brand Nubian album. Yeah.
So none of this, and I keep going back to this because it's like, you still a child. So you dealing with all this, you doing monumental shit. Like, how's your pop? Do you talk to your pops about this? Like, do you go home and ever be like, yo, look, tonight I did X, Y, and Z. Like, this shit was amazing. Right. Or you kind of just like how you are, like reserved, kind of like just.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, I'm good. Like, what I'm saying, just doing my thing.
Right.
Like, I'm not asking for no advice or anything. I'm just kind of going with the flow. Things are happening, and I'm just like.
And see, the other thing is, you're not living in Bed-Stuy or in Jamaica or in Hell's Kitchen right now. You're living in New Jersey, so right. You are, and you're not living in like East Orange or or Newark. You're living in Jersey City, so you're kind of. Right. Your living is offset from the culture to a certain extent. Right. I mean, you have proximity.
Right, yeah.
But it ain't popping on your block like that.
Right, yeah, exactly. I come home and it's like it's quiet.
It's quiet, right. Right, so you get in good with Brand Nubian. Obviously, you guys form a bond and then you begin touring.
Exactly.
Now, take us through what touring felt like for a dancer back then. Like, first off, obviously, well, not obviously, you could tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming that you were getting paid like per event. Like you go dance at a space, you're getting paid that night for that dance.
Right.
Versus on tour, is it different? Like,
well, in the beginning, yeah, because they had the the promo tour. You know what I mean? So there were certain shows that we were just getting per diem. Just because it was a promotional tour for them to. Promote the album, and but that was pretty quick, and we started getting paid on a regular basis, for every show, and then it'd be 3, sometimes 4 shows a week, you know what I mean? So right. we were doing pretty, pretty decent.
Right. So you going from city to city.
Yeah, we do like a West Coast tour, and then the tour came for De La Soul Is Dead album. And they put all the electro artists on tour as the openers, except for P-Rock and CL Smooth. So
KMD, Leaders of the New.
Exactly, Brand Nubian. De La. You know what I mean? So, it was just like everything that you think it would be. Like, it was just, we're out there having fun, man. I'm like 17 years old, like going on 18 maybe during the tour, turned 18 on the tour.
What's the wildest shit you saw out there on that particular?
Well, every time we went to the West Coast, man, it was always some kind of, things popped off over there. You know what I mean? Issues where we had to like get in the vans, like, yo, we gotta go, like, yo, cats is running to the car, they go, grab guns, and we gotta get out of there. There's been a couple of those things, and it's always happened. A lot of those things happen on the West Coast, man. So.
Other acts had dance crews as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. KMD had the Boogeymen, and then Leaders of the New School had Geronimo. Remember Geronimo? He was down with Rumpelstiltskins. He became a rapper for Rumpelstiltskins. His name was Geronimo. He had the short dreads, the blonde dreads. he was wild, bro. He was like that Buster Energy, like dancing.
Right.
He would drop his pants and be with his boxers. He was like the first like hip hop stripper, like. You know.
So you always made me school my wife.
Nah, but yeah, he had passed away, I believe, man. Rest in peace, Geronimo. But
Right.
you know, it was, you know, we all shared the same bus. You know, they all had they was already established with their second album. They had their own bus, and we'd be following behind in whatever Greyhound. So it would be like a 2-seater, you know, with your little pillow.
Right, you laying on the window. Your man got the aisle seat. Right.
So, but it was you know, and Chris Lighty was the tour manager. You know, he was on the bus with us. And, you know, just to meet all these people and just to do these shows.
How long you was away from the house at a time? Like when you're on the West Coast, that got to be like a 2-week run.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely more about 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
Yeah,
so you just come home and you like, yeah, what up?
Yeah,
What's up,
man, you know,
What's good?
yeah,
What's
exactly.
good, y'all? Y'all all right? What's for dinner? Like you ain't even like, because you're not. There's a reason why I keep going back to this is because you're not a artist.
Right.
A lot of times I speak to artists, and when they begin rhyming and their music starts getting played on the radio,
Right.
their parents, their loved ones they're compelled to pay attention now because it's like, wait a minute, my son is on WBLS.
Right, yeah, there was nothing like I had to bring him to sign a contract.
Right. Like now I got to get involved. You're not that, you're dancing, but you are as integral to the whole thing as anybody else. But you have the autonomy because it's not like you don't get famous because people hear you on the radio.
Right, exactly.
But here you go telling your pops like, yo, I'm leaving. I'm going to the West Coast. I'll be back maybe, I don't know, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You 17. Fuck high school because you still in high school.
Exactly. I didn't even feel like I had to go get my GED.
You got your GED, right. Because you cannot commit to finishing high school when you're across the country.
Yeah, so yeah, man, it was pretty interesting, man. Like you know, I feel you know I got some support, but you know they were always like kind of like, yo, this is gonna like run its course. You know what I mean?
At some point, you gotta get a job.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know the whole thing. What if you break your leg? I'm not thinking about none of this stuff. I'm just like.
That's wild. That's wild. What if you break your leg?
Yeah.
Like, wow, that's wild.
I'm like, yo, I'm good. So I've always had that. I was very rebellious, you know, already. So me just being away was just like another form of rebellion, kind of like, you know what I mean? Like,
right. I'm gonna do what I want.
Yeah, exactly. Then you know that didn't work out for me too well. Like, you know, my mom's is like, yo, you know, after a while, like when I hit 18, you know, old school mom's like, you 18 years old now.
You ain't going to college.
Yeah, you gotta, you know.
You ain't going to the armed forces.
Exactly.
You gotta get about my house type shit.
Yep, exactly.
So does that happen? Like when you turn 18?
Yeah. And you know, it's crazy because even when I was, even before going on tour and everything, like when I was telling I was like 16 going to clubs, I'm going to like parties during the week, bro, like on a Tuesday night.
Tuesday night.
Coming home at like
5 in the morning.
Like 4 in the morning.
Right, you're wilding.
Leaving me outside, like, how you gonna stay out there? Like, you know, so this is I'm going on Tuesday nights, going to Heavy D's Gold Party for his album EPMD Gold Party. Like, I'm not missing this for nothing, bro.
Right, I'm going to this party. I'm going to this party.
Regardless of I know that I'm gonna have some consequences.
But you're a child.
Right.
Like my nephew he turns 17 next week. Like I can imagine if he's running the streets like this, like, well, I mean, I'm for the streets, so I'm gonna go with him, right? We going to the gold party together. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, I can understand that culture shock that you put your parents through because they don't know what you're doing.
Right.
And hip hop is still kind of new, so like, they don't care about that shit in the way that we would pay recognition to it now.
Yeah.
So you're just a badass kid.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Pretty much. Yeah. I look at that stuff. I'm like, you know, I know I'm a good person, but I was just doing some wild stuff. Like even with hooky parties at my crib when my mom wasn't there.
Right, I did that. That's
you know, but it's like
we did that. Already.
You know, it's funny because I had a terrorist and I looked down, I see my mom coming back.
Oh,
I'm like, oh
shit! You
man,
got
like,
in the crib. Oh yeah.
She come back as a sink full of dishes, like of cups and things like that. She's like, yo, you come on now.
Right, come on, you out, you bugging out. What am I gonna do with you?
Yeah, man. So you know, it was always like. But you know that experience, man, it just was very. I can't even explain it, man. That you know, because it was like that golden era. You know how they say, you never realize you're in it. You know what I'm saying? The golden
Right.
era till later.
So
like,
after
you know what I'm
it's
saying?
over.
So, right, exactly. When
Right.
you're in it, you're just in it. You
Right.
don't even know it's the golden era.
Right.
So, yeah.
Did you have a significant, like a special person back then, like a girlfriend?
Oh yeah, I had a girlfriend like early, but like 15, like when I was coming, like 88, like so I met her at Studio 54. Like
You met her at Studio. How old was she?
She was like a year younger than me. She was
younger than you in Studio 54.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, y'all was wilding up in
Yeah,
there.
so if you talk about late 80s, man, and like this is a time, I guess even when I was coming up in 83, like it was okay for me to go walk with my friends to Jamaica Avenue, even though it was like 10 blocks away, like and be outside like that.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't see my 10-year-old.
I can, right. I feel the same way.
With their friends and,
I feel the same way.
Coming back.
Like when I was, I have an 8-year-old daughter. So like when I was in 7th grade, I got skipped. So I was in 7th grade in 1986. I was 11 years old. When I was 11 years old, that summer between 6th grade and 7th grade, I would leave a crib and be out all day.
Right.
And there was no cell phones. I didn't have a beeper.
Exactly.
Like my mother was working for most of the day.
Right.
And I would literally hit the streets and just be out.
Exactly.
Like we used to do shit like just get on the train and ride it to different places and just ride around the train system. I was 11 years old.
Right.
I can't see that. There's no way I would let my little kids do that now.
Exactly.
Right? Like, but we were part of that era. The 80s was a funny time because our parents were made to work, but there weren't systems in place to protect children from outside. And thousands of people were getting killed in New York City. I think the number for 1988 or 1986 rather was like 2,500 people got killed in the city in 86.
Oh, wow.
So it wasn't like it was the safest place,
Right.
but still we had this like ambitious desire to be outside in a way that kids now, let me tell you something, my nephew he'll be, like I said, he'll be 17 in a couple weeks. My nieces are 15. They will stay in the house all day.
Right.
They will play video games
Right.
and be on their phone.
Exactly.
Or you can leave the door unlocked and you can leave the crib all day and they're going to stay in the house all day. That wasn't us.
Exactly.
You leave the house, I'm out. As soon as you leave, I'm be like, yo, it's going to take you 5 minutes to get to the train station. I'm out, yo. I'm out. So I get that. I recognize that.
Yeah,
So you go on the promo tour. You finish the promo tour. Now what?
Brand Nubian is like the hottest like group of 90 because their album came out in 90, so it like spilled over into 91 the whole summer. Like,
right.
I mean, like, so we shot more videos. We did shows. We did Soul Train. We did.
He was on Soul Train.
Yeah, Soul Train.
That had to be an experience.
Yeah, with Don Cornelius was still hosting it. Arsenio Hall show. These things were happening. We were traveling to go do these things. So it was a lot of major things we were doing. And
bro, that's big.
Yeah. So I guess and then there was there was some fiction going on at the time. Brand Nubian broke up for a little while, and then parted ways.
Yeah, Jamal and Sadat did their thing.
Right, so,
they kept the name Brand Nubian. Right. Bounced did a solo project.
Right, exactly. So we were kind of like in the middle of that a little bit, but we rocked with Pooba. You know what I'm saying? And then we decided to roll with Pooba. We felt that's what fit us best.
Which is wild because Sadat and Jamal
exactly. So,
discovered you. Well, discovered
right. So so there was like a lot of little internal, but it was not crazy. I don't want to talk about because everybody handles it.
All those people is
very well.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna leave that alone. But I mean, it's just interesting that you guys chose to go Pooba's route.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Like I said, man, Pooba is like, I still talk to Pooba to this day.
Pooba just. Oh, well, you was there.
Oh yeah.
Right. For Juneteenth.
Exactly. So I'm full circle coming back to DJ for them.
Right.
Years later on.
Right. So you go with Pooba.
And now there's a process of him recording the real album. Mm-hmm. So now there's his downtime. You know what I mean? So we're in the studio with Pooba.
Do you get a job at any time? Are you working?
Nah, man. Like,
so you just outside. You just outside.
And then, they didn't get a job until like after
everything was over.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And we was in the studio with Pooba. We even did some ad-libs, we did some background vocals. We was in the studio.
You never thought about rhyming?
Not really. I try to write some rhymes one time. I kicked one rhyme that we all did like a demo. We were all rhyming over a good combination, the positive K joint.
Positive K, right.
My boy had Truth, he got that tape. So I was like the only rhyme I got on that's out there.
Dope. Dope. So now, when you're doing real to real, you still living with moms?
Yeah, I think. So
and y'all still living
in Jersey.
In Jersey.
Right. So my mom lives in Union City. My pops lives in Jersey City. Right. So,
right.
I was kind of going back and forth with them. So I think I was going with my pops. Like I told you, my mom was like, all right, yo.
Yeah, your mom's like, I'm tired of you.
So now I went to go stay with my pops for a little while. And I'm, same thing. I'm touring, and the real comes out, and then that becomes another tour, another amazing experience. Meeting people, from Tupac to Snoop, and all these people hanging around us when we're on the West Coast, because Poopa was a big deal. Thank you. Poopa was that guy.
Yeah, my shit was Big Kids Don't Play.
Yeah, so now we what's so crazy is that's us in the background doing Big Kids.
Oh, word, that's y'all. Yeah.
And it's funny because now you mentioned it, like we were actually Poopa put us in there to the beat. He was like, "Yo, try to we were all trying to come up with something."
Right.
And I forgot who it was. Maybe it might have been my boy True. Big Kids Don't Play.
Right.
And then people was like, yeah, say that one. Right. You know what I'm saying? So we just kept doing that.
Yeah, I used to tag that shit.
Rest in peace, Stud Doogie.
So my name is Deuce. What you mean? Stud Doogie is passed away?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He passed away like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, he was rocking with Poopa until then. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to, my name is Deuce, so I would do the dice with the 2, and then I would write under it Big Kids. And shout out to Kev. Big Kev used to write Big Kids, used to tag up Big Kids, absolutely. So yeah, that's dope, though. Okay. So Real to Real comes out, y'all rocking with Real to Real.
Right. 360 comes out.
Right.
During the times of recording it, like I remember him, Poopa coming to pick me up. He had his little Beamer with the big speaker in the back, and I just remember like riding with him, and he only had the first verse, and I just heard that chorus. And I was like, oh my goodness.
So what? What's
up? 360.
Right.
And I was just like, whoa, like, you know what I mean? That's what I was like, oof. Because we would chill. Anytime we went he picked us up with Chill Pool, it was like a whole experience. Right. Like we're going, wherever we're going is, right. He's the center of attention.
Well, Poopa, even before Brand Nubian, with him as master of ceremonies, like Poopa always was somebody that held his own in the industry. Like he was not a slouch lyrically, and he was cool as shit.
Right. And for him to come back again, and then with the Brand Nubians, it just like, right, just like blow up, got that respect again. Like he stepped it up a notch. Like he's rhyming to like a whole new 90s flow. Like he kind of like birthed a lot of MCs and influenced many MCs that came after Grand Pooh, because he was that guy like 90, 91, 92. There's that Pac, how you say every rapper, they have like this 4-year run, or he had a good like 2-year run. Like it was
that 90, 91, 92.
Like 91, 92. Right. You know what I mean? Like he was like the most featured artist on like with Heavy D, Don't Curse, on Skins. He was doing features early. Right. You know what I mean? Before a lot of people doing a lot of them.
Right. And this was while he was in Brand Nubian, and then after Brand Nubian.
It's funny because so Poopa wasn't down with that promo stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, he was already in the industry already. So he's like, I'm not doing a promo joint. Like I'm already on. So we were going out doing it with just Jamar and Sadat. Right. And then there was a little friction there, but so that caused like certain things, because now certain promoters are like, yo, where Pooh at? Things like that. But now that I look back at it, like if he would have went on probably tour, a lot of those features he probably wouldn't have done. You know what I mean? Because he would have been on the road.
He would have been on the road, so he wouldn't have had the time to do those features.
Right. So, now that I look back at it, I'm like, oh, he probably did all these features while we was away. Right. And then they came out. Then he had the whole thing with Mary J. Blige. Right. Her in the studio. I was there when they were writing 411. Just seeing, I remember her having You Remind Me out. Like that was the only joint on the Juice soundtrack.
Yeah, right.
And that was our joy. We were like, oh, this is the job. I remember just chilling with my people. We just chilling to that song. And then she's in the studio. We're like, oh, that's Shorty. And Yeah, so that, just with being that whole 1992 when Puba came out, another tour happened. That's when Arsenio happened with Puba. And then we did a couple other Yo MTV Raps. We did Yo MTV Raps live performance.
Now, all these spots, when you used to go to these spots, they used to treat the dancers love, like artists, right?
Yeah, man. And that's because Puba was also that kind of MC too that made us feel that way. Like everything that we had, like he had, like it was like we were there. Like you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even that's the way he's always been. And that's how we felt more comfortable. Like, oh man, I felt that brotherly love. Like nah, even when we weren't there, they didn't want us there. He made sure we was there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? For the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was I gonna say? I forgot there was something, but
I want to talk about the fashion though, because I saw you in
right.
the picture.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna say with Tommy
the
Hilfiger.
vest, right? You had I think that may have been a polo vest. Remember the field vest we used to rock with the motherfucking rugby underneath?
Where was this?
One of the pictures that you.
Back in the days.
Back in the day. Yeah, back in the day.
Oh,
yeah.
rugby joints.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like was that? I know that Puba was very much Hilfiger polo guest. Right, I know you grew up in multiple areas. You kind of moved around. For us in Brooklyn, everything was polo guest, Jabro, right? But they was the same look.
Yeah,
that field vest. You know what I mean? The baggy jeans, the rugby sweaters, like
tennis trails.
Right, 10 trails. Oh, 10 trails, right. Woolrich coats.
Exactly.
We used to get our
Woolrich had the rugbies. Those are the rugbies we're wearing in the
It's the Woolrich rugbies.
Yeah.
We used to get our JanSport strings from 10 trails. They used to have in the back, they used to have all the strings. I forgot what those strings was actually for. Like they actually was like twine for some shit. They was mad colorful. We just go in and buy a foot of this, a foot of that, cut it up and put it on our JanSports. Yeah. Yeah, shout to 10 Trails.
I was talking to my partner, iTruth, yesterday because there was this hockey jersey that I wore in the Check It Out video, and I was like, damn, it was the Montreal Canadiens. Great. It was and I was like, where did I get that? I was like, what's the name of that spot on 57th Street that we used to go shopping? It was Scandinavia.
Scandinavia.
Yeah, it was Scandinavia.
I remember Paragon.
It was like that kind of like Paragon,
yeah.
but it was on 57th Street, like between like 6th and 7th Avenue. Yeah. So they had.
So y'all didn't have a stylist. Y'all just was coming in your own way.
Yeah, we did until we had a stylist for maybe a 360, but it was already stuff that we had.
Right.
And not that we had, but Tommy was taking care of it. Now we met Tommy at the airport. Or his brother Andy. One day we were with
Andy, right.
We were at the airport waiting for our luggage, and I think Andy comes up and is like, yo, I want to introduce you to my brother, boom, boom, boom. So they set up this whole meeting and a photo shoot, and we went to the showroom in Midtown, and they were playing 4-on-1, because that's when he said Tommy Hilfiger top there. And so they
Jabro's hanging back and Tommy Hilfiger on top, right.
Right. And they brought us there, and it was a nice, beautiful showroom, and we were talking for a while, and then he was like, all right, Puba, like, you go pick out your stuff, and then everybody else after Puba picks out his stuff.
Then y'all can go.
Yeah, we was like garbage bag, bags, jackets, button-downs. Like I was giving away stuff to my people. It was like, he was like walking down the block, like the 6th Avenue to catch a cab.
Everything free.
So they got a picture of that in the source. We took a picture with Tommy Hilfiger, Puba, stuff Doogie SOS, where we got the Tommy sweaters on, the hats. And
so you live in?
Yeah, man. So I'm
you live in.
Exactly. Right.
You live in this thing called hip hop. Still ain't working. Still living with your parents.
I'm getting paid for that.
Right, you good. You getting money though. Right, you know what I'm saying? But you kind of like in a space where you are chasing it.
You know what? I also felt that at the time, like, damn, like that. When you asked me earlier, when do you feel like you made it? I think like when we were dancing with Puba, I was like, oh man, Puba's that dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? We were dancing with Puba. I'm feeling like Scoop and Scrap status now. Like,
right, you on that level. But not really. You probably was bigger than Scoop and Scrap got.
I don't know about that.
Scoop and Scrap had their moment with Kane, but what I'm saying is by the time...
I think we were right there. Like,
but by the time hip-hop really, because when in Kane era, even in '88, this was really before corporate entities started really chucking money
Right.
in that game like that. But y'all in 90, 91, 92, this is a different hip hop.
Right.
Like, this is different. This is corporate marriage,
Right.
So you are going on promos and corporate entities are like, yo, we rock with y'all.
Yeah.
Come to the spot, do a garbage. I don't know, and I would like to shout out to Johnny Famous because he was in the showroom recently, but I'd like to talk to him. I'm going to try to bring him on the show because I want to know if they was experiencing that same type of connectivity with corporate fashion the way y'all were.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm, you know, I think for the most, I mean, like you said, if we had stopped, we just ourselves. When we were getting paid, that's all we were spending our money on.
Right.
We were going back to spend it on clothes for, you know, and it's funny because there was a stylist that came with the Tommy stuff, and then we'd be like, yo, I'm keeping this joint. Like, he was trying to rap, but she wasn't having it. She was waiting.
She was waiting for that shit?
Yeah,
Nah.
that's one thing, and that's another thing, man. I was very sticky fingers early in my teenage
Right.
years.
Nah,
you
that's
know,
cool.
back in the days that people was bagging stuff, especially go on the road, and you're like, oh, shit, this is this easy right here?
Yo,
like, there's nobody here
stories.
watching me?
Yeah,
Like,
I got stories, yo. On our senior trip, we went to Disney World, right? So our senior trip, I went to Tech, so we drove down to Florida and we went to Disney World. So we in Disney World. We got 2 days in Disney World. So first off, that shit is excruciating. Don't no kid from Brooklyn want to be in Disney World.
right.
So we walk around the spot. We go into a gift store. It's only one person in the gift store, and that person sees us in the store and goes to the back, like to the stock room.
Yeah.
We standing around like, nah, y'all not really doing this. So shout out to Tech 92. I ain't gonna incriminate nobody. Some of y'all got good jobs, but we definitely was on that shit. Yeah.
So, but you know, like, you know, when I started popping, I was like, wow, this is it. Like, we're at where we want to be. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're featured dancing for one of the hottest MCs. And at that time, I think that's where I was kind of like limiting myself. I was like, this is where, you know what I mean? I wasn't thinking further.
You wasn't thinking past it.
Right. And then the whole thing changed. But like 93 hit, and now Black Moon is coming out. Wu-Tang is dropping. The sound of the music is changed, getting back to grimy. And then I feature dance. Onyx is out.
Ain't nobody dancing.
And these guys are dancers.
They dancing, right?
But now they killing like they're dancing. Right, and they're not dancing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you know, I could feel that in the air. You know what I mean? Especially like certain shows were like, okay, this is starting to come to kind of an end, and you know, and that's when like you don't really see hip hop dancers really dance for hip hop artists.
No.
They kind of moved on to dance for R&B artists now. Right. So you see R&B artists like Mop Top's going to dance with Mariah Carey, Cats dancing for Janet Jackson. You know, a lot of hip hop dancers. Rudy Ray, I forgot who we were dancing for at the time. Like they moved on.
They moved on to other sets.
Right.
But we talk about that a lot on this show about how hip hop moves so fast. From like 92 to like 95, 96, it was a totally different game.
Exactly. And then I'm finding myself, I'm like, oh, I'm no words.
Right, now you back in the hood.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
yep.
Now you back in the hood.
Yep. And shout out to my grandfather, man. My grandfather today was his birthday. He would have been, you know, if he was 113 years old. He was born in 10-10-10.
10-10-10.
Exactly, 1910.
Right.
My father got fed up with my stuff. I wanted to go live with my grandfather.
Right.
Like now I'm back in Midtown, and now I'm back in the city.
Right. Now you back in Hell's Kitchen.
Right. So you know, I had to go get a job.
Where'd you work? Where's the first
Tower
job?
Records.
Okay, so all right.
66th Street.
Okay, you stayed the one on Upper West Side.
Yeah.
So you stayed in the kind of in the space at least. What you was doing for Tower Records?
Yeah, I mean the jazz section. You know, they doing sales.
Right.
You know, so
right.
It was it was good. Yeah, like we said.
Anybody ever recognize you? Like when you in Tower Records, anybody be like, "Yo, you used to dance for fucking
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there was. I mean, I remember there was time that I seen Puffy come in like looking for the Barry White box set like that came out at the time, and he's already starting to like get his thing together with Bad Boy. I'm starting to see his shit. Like,
right.
I remember one of the Nicholas brothers in there though. Like,
oh wow, that's crazy.
So, I'm pretty sure there were times that that was happening. I was kind of like beyond it at that moment.
How did you feel in that moment? Like when you had to come back to the hood and there was no more touring, there was no more.
He's like starting to get like that. Alzheimer's,
Uh-huh.
and I remember he thought I stole some quarters from him.
Right.
And he threw me out for that shit. Like, and I came back to visit him like 3 months later, and he was like, yeah, he found them and shit.
He found the quarters, but now this is him.
But my grandfather was good, man. Like, God bless his soul, man. And things. I just started working, bro. Like it was like a nice stretch of that. I was like working. I started getting into the restaurant industry. I worked at Mecca restaurant.
Oh, you worked at Mecca?
Yeah, early too. Like like 96.
Wow.
95,
okay.
96. And I was there.
That was my spot. I used to fuck with Mecca.
So I was there. I was running food, like, you know what I'm saying, and I was there for a little bit. Then I started working in retail part, working at gas, at Polo, things like that. I was just like, all right, I started working, bro,
Right.
So
when do you start DJing?
So I started DJing like literally like towards the end of the 90s.
Towards the end of the night.
End of the 90s.
Why? Why'd you start DJing?
Man, I've always collected records and I've always made like my compilations and I would play them at Mecca, like, you know what I'm saying? Like anytime I was there, most of the time the music you heard there was music my tapes that I put together. Like, I had my CDs and my tape deck, select the song, figure out what song is gonna go with, it's gonna go perfect with that, you know what I'm saying? Not mixing, just selections, you know what I'm saying? Like all the way from beginning to end, and people were loving my tapes and I was like, damn, I really want to start DJing. Plus, my partner, Truth, he was already DJing. My boy Ken Sport, you remember Ken Sport? He came out. He was like one of the first guys to come out with like those sample mixtapes that had all the samples on them.
They had all the samples.
His covers.
I remember those.
His covers with the Enter the Dragon.
I think I remember.
He had that Mad Dime. They used to sell them
yeah.
at Bobito store. And, like,
I remember.
Fat Beats. He lived up the block from me, and me and him started kicking it. I'm in his crib, like listening to records. Like, wow, like he's like, it's funny because he's like listening for samples that somebody used, and I'm like listening to other things on the record. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Like just a song alone. And I just always had that thing for music and how to put music together and what I want to hear, how it makes me feel.
That's the choreography,
right?
It's the same thing.
So that just kind of like progressed into like me, like.
But you don't got no equipment now, do you?
Right. See, that's the thing. So now, in the late '90s, the CD equipment starts to come out. The CDJ. But even before the CDJs, it was the compact joint. Like it looks like a controller type, but it's connected to a whole other component where you put the CDs on the bottom. Remember those joints?
Yes.
And then it had a little wire that connected, and then you control it through the top, and you have to switch the CDs. Had a CD book. So I started DJing with CDs because I worked at Tower Records.
So you had everything. Right, you're still sticky. He's still sticky for you.
Oh man, security, everybody it was bad over there.
Right, everybody was sticky. I got no stories too. Yeah, I feel you.
Anyway, but I had a great collection. I had records too, but I had more CDs at the time. So I was like, this is perfect. Let me just start DJing with CDs. Instead of me not having to go buy, because my record collections were, I was moving around, so I was giving my record collections like hold this, and you know how you
it was all over the place, right?
And then it becomes their records, right? Like you ask for it back, and it's like a problem.
Like, where's my killer tape? I don't know. It just showed up missing. So you started with CDs,
right? Yeah, when that technology started coming out in the late '90s, like '99. Yeah, and then I was DJing spots. At the Buttercup Lounge was like,
Mecca. Buttercup Lounge.
You know what? Mecca was my first spot.
Okay.
And I started DJing at Mecca.
Okay.
Because I was on and off with Mecca. Like it was like here and there. I would be back and forth throughout almost till it closed.
Right. Mecca. Big Kev had his birthday dinner at Mecca. I feel like it was like 2000 or 2001.
Oh yeah.
It was like 40 of us in Mecca one time. Yeah. You probably was there.
Spinner, I met Spinner there because that was one of the first restaurants that I seen that had DJs. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Jeff Brown. There was a couple of DJs that I met there. I think Tess Moon was DJing there for me.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So I bought my CD. I bought you know, it's funny because I got a job and then I hooked up my board, and then he hooked up so I had like all my people was like working there
Right.
through my connection. You know
Right.
what I mean? And
Right.
Once I got my boy in, he became like the general manager.
So now you good. So now you
so
come
now
in
I come-
DJ.
Right. Exactly. So boom, like I'm in there, and then Richard from Buttercup Lounge, he was part of Mecca and Shark Bar.
Mm-hmm.
He opened up Buttercup Lounge.
Buttercup
He took
Lounge,
over
right.
that. I started DJing there.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny 'cause I was bartending at Buttercup for a minute.
Word?
Yeah, because I started bartending at Mecca
Right.
towards the end, and then Misbehavior was DJing.
Shout out to Misbehavior. I just saw her.
Yeah,
I just saw her recently.
She was DJing one night, and I was bartending upstairs, and she got into it with Richard. I think she cursed him out.
Word.
And they were like, "Yo, you want to come on next week?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "You know, why not?" So I started working there. Then it just started from there, man. Like, you know, a place called White Rabbit in the Lower East Side,
I don't know.
right next to the movie theater, the Sunshine movie theater. That little
Nah.
spot that was right next door.
You're talking about like down past the AMC. You're talking about like 8th or 7th.
No, I'm talking about on Lower East Side.
You're talking all the way down.
Yeah,
I don't
where the
remember,
Park mural was, right there on Houston.
Nah.
Yeah.
White Rabbit.
Yeah, it was another spot before that, and it had it looked like an airplane when you look like a seat, airplane seats.
Mm.
Yeah, it was a pretty popular spot. So I got my feet wet there, just
It's like 2000.
Yeah, so like the ball starts to get rolling with my DJing stuff.
So now you a DJ.
Yeah,
And now, like
I'm back in it.
Right now you back. You back in the game now.
Right.
And so, what did you learn from the first time you was in and out the game that you kept with you once you started DJing? Because you DJing to this day, so you haven't left.
Right.
This time, like
right.
you.
Well, now I'm the featured artist. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
I'm not. That's the thing I learned is like like a lot of my contemporary dance, like some of my friends that were in the dance scene, they moved on. Like, you know what I'm saying? They like Stretch, Prance, a lot of brothers. They like especially Stretch, Buddha Stretch, and Mob Tops. Their father was very hands on and like, you know what I'm saying, like teaching business early.
Right. So they had business.
Right.
Guidance.
Exactly. So they weren't like they were background dancers, but they were also they were going to teach classes some places in Japan. Like
Prance is in Japan right now.
Exactly.
Right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And big shout out to Japan because they know their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My boy Rubber Bands, he hit me. I was on a live with him. He's like, "Yo, they know who y'all are here, man." Like, and so it's like people may forget like here, you know what I mean, but out there.
But people that are into it, they know.
Right.
Enthusiasts know who you are.
Exactly. So when Puma says SOS is you with me, you know what I'm saying? It's talking about SOS dancers, So. Yeah, man. So I think that just be featuring me as the artist. Now I'm the artist now. Like I'm not playing the background for somebody else and waiting for somebody else to pay me and book shows for me. Now I'm doing it on my own.
How far has DJing taken you? What's the furthest place you DJ?
Oh man, I've been to DR, PR.
Yo, you was in PR. You was coming to do something in PR a couple years back, and I was in PR the weekend before you was gonna be there, and I saw your name on flyers. I was in Isla Verde, right? I was out there, and I saw you. I was like, damn, he gonna be here next week. I'm gone. I'm leaving Thursday.
That's how it is.
Yeah, I saw you. I saw your name out there. I was bigging it up. Like, yeah, that's my man, yo. Like,
yeah, absolutely, man. So word, man. So like I said, man, like this, especially like this year's been a great year, man. Like so with the Hip Hop 50,
right?
A lot of shows. I got to rock with Brand Nubian at Rock the Bells,
right?
You know what I mean? So that was like a big moment for me.
Right, you was rocking with Pooba when he was with us.
Yeah, exactly.
Pooba performed, and Jamal, right? Pooba performed at Restoration for Juneteenth, and he was there.
Yeah, exactly. So what's funny is that we did little pop up shows with as dancers later on, like in like early 2000s. Like we did like Knitting Factory, the original Knitting Factory in Soho. We danced with Brand Nubian after all those years. You know what I mean? So it was like we would always come back and do little things like big shows like Radio City when they first started doing Masters of Ceremony concerts at Radio City. Came out and danced to Slow Down.
That's dope.
That's like the slowest joint. Like we're not in our teens no more.
Kids no more.
So, You know, we come out there like.
Right.
We had to even adjust some dance moves. Like,
Yeah,
I went to go try to do.
down.
I tried to do a joint that was like that we did in the original joint. I did a roll, come back out. I was like, we're gonna edit that out. We're gonna
cut that. Nah, we ain't doing that.
Because I'm not doing that on stage.
Right, you're gonna play yourself. You're gonna play yourself. How's your life now? You got a wife?
Yeah, I got a wife. I got 2 beautiful daughters with her.
How old are your kids?
5 and 10 months.
Okay. So
and then I also have 2 older kids.
You got 2 older kids.
Yeah.
Do your older kids know who you are?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been in their life since day one. You know.
So I did an event on Saturday with Walkerware, and Milk D Audio 2 had his daughter there.
Oh wow.
And we was asking her like, yo, do you know who your father is? And she was like, yeah, nah, kinda. Like, you gotta know your father is a legend in this culture. So like, do the kids know? Like, do they know that you a legend in this culture?
Yeah, you know, my daughter dances, so you know.
Oh, she dances.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so she see me, and I always bring her everywhere with me. You know, when she was little, just concerts. Mm-hmm. This is just some dad stuff. You know what I'm saying? Not performing or nothing like that.
Yeah,
but,
I got you.
Then my son is 16. He's into photography now, so I did the Uptown Bounce Barrio this summer. He came and took pictures. You know what I mean? So that was one of the first times you really got to see me in my form because it's a daytime event. You know what I mean? Family oriented. Family. What's the word I'm looking for? Family oriented.
Family oriented.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was able to bring him to that. You know, because most of the time, I'm doing my thing late night. You know, so I can't bring them. Now my daughter's going to be 22 though next month. Oh no, I'm sorry, in March.
You got some nerve talking about you can't bring her. You was outside at 16 years old getting locked out the fucking house. Now you can't bring your daughter.
Now I can bring my daughter. She's 21.
Right.
Yeah. So, man, it's an amazing experience, man. And
do you think you'll be dancing like so? Hip Hop 50. This year has been amazing. Right, from a standpoint of our generation of hip hop.
Yeah.
Like, it's no one has had the conversation yet, but a conversation needs to be had that it's our generation that have created and maintained the buzz for Hip Hop 50. Younger generation, I haven't heard Drake say shit about Hip Hop 50. Mm-hmm. I haven't heard J. Cole say shit about hip hop. I haven't heard Kendrick say shit. I haven't heard NBA. None of these cats have said anything about Hip Hop 50.
Right.
It's us. But what we've proven this summer is that people our age will spend money on hip hop.
Exactly.
Woo. We went to the joint at Madison Square Garden.
I went to the Woo and Nas joint.
At the Barclays, right? But we went to the joint at Madison Square Garden, the joint at Barclays. All these shits is sold out. Let me explain something to you. Young artists are not selling arenas out. The Baby, Sexy Red, Ice Spice, they're not selling arenas out, bro.
Really? I've heard this, yeah.
Yeah, they're not selling arenas out. Sales of hip hop shows are down like 40%, but it ain't us because you put Woo, you put Nas, you put De La Soul, we're selling Barclays out.
Exactly.
Even now, the Lauryn Hill joint, I was trying to look for tickets. That shit is sold out.
Wow.
So we've proven, our generation proved to corporate America and the people that can kind of bring money into the situation that we're still viable.
Right.
Do you see yourself kind of like if Pooba? I was with you with Pooba perform with us, but if Pooba would have been like, "Yo, Todd, dance with us," you dance? You still dancing?
You know what?
Do you practice?
I don't, man. I haven't. I do. I kind of want to get back into it. I was telling my wife lately. I was like, I got to get back into just like,
What does your wife say when you say that shit? Yo, I got to get back into dancing.
Well, it's like my wife is a dancer. So.
Oh, see, yeah, you're good. Right, you're good.
So she's good. Like she's she's been dancing, for a while. When I met her, she was, I was like, she reminded me of myself. I seen her on stage, Afro Punk, dancing with Mobile Mondays.
Wow.
2015 or something. And I just remember seeing her smiling on stage. And I'm like, oh, she's having fun up there.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah, exactly. So,
right.
You know what I mean? And then we didn't meet until like a year later. But
wow, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So when you say, I got to get back to dancing, she's like, yeah, get back to dancing. Stop playing.
Yeah, man, because, like, I hear it in my head, man. Like, it's sometimes, like, you hear, sometimes you see things in your head that you think you can do. So it's like, it's like more like a pitcher that's in his later years. It's more about that finesse game. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not the power.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's not the rolls and all that. It's kind of like the finesse.
Yeah. So big up to everybody who's still doing it, man. Like Mob Tops is still touring. Prance is still doing his thing. You know, there's a lot of brothers, that's out there. Loose Joints, Khalif. So many brothers that are still doing it, man, and and they're older than me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like they're 50, like 55. You know what I mean? So they keep themselves in good shape, stretch, take care of themselves. I'm on that vibe as well. I mean, I work out. I just don't dance as much. I'll dance. Things got to be in the right element. Like everything has to be right for me. Like I got to be out. I got to have a nice drink or two. Right. The sound system got to sound the floor.
Right. Everything got to be a go.
You know what I mean?
Everything got to be a go.
Yeah. Things got to line up for me. And then also like people always expect me to dance. I'm always kind of a laid back person. Like like I would dance for brand new. Everybody got the circle and everybody's looking at me. Like I'm like
go top, right? Go top, right?
You know what I mean? I'm like. I either go hard or I don't go at all. Like what I mean? So a funny thing, Pooh pulled me on stage at the Bushwick joint. I did the Bushwick Collective this year.
Right, the Bushwick Collective, yeah.
He's like, yo, man, come on, like. So I came out and did a 1 for all. Like, yo, I'll be out.
Yeah, right, yeah, you fronted.
I wasn't ready. I gotta go back to the DJ booth, man.
Right, you fronted. Last question, all things being considered, Tahleim the DJ, Tahleim the dancer. Which Tahleim has been more impactful in this culture?
I think the DJing, because I was able to perform so many more places as a DJ than as a damn. Even though if you would ask me that question and at a different time, maybe earlier, I had more of an impact early.
Right.
But later, I still the mixes I've put out, the shows I've done, the way I've made people feel, the way people have reacted to me DJing. It's like, oh man, like, thank you. Like, you know what I mean? I've gotten a lot of compliments more.
Yeah, I would say that too, because one of the things, and we didn't get a chance to discuss it today, but real quickly, you are part of this collective of, so there's conversations brewing about the Latino element in hip hop, right? And there's certain haters on either side saying, oh, well, you can't say that they're part of the forefathers, and then there's supporters saying, yeah, you can. But you're part of a collective of Puerto Rican DJs that have been very impactful in the city. Like I saw you as a picture when you was at the Puerto Rican Day Parade. It's like you, it's Ted, it's like mad of y'all on the float together.
Right. Well, this, Ted wasn't there for this one. I did this one for the first time this year.
Okay.
Puerto Rican Day Parade, which is another big highlight for me in my DJ career, man. That was a big highlight.
Had to be.
I don't know. I mean, what's funny is that with this conversation that's popping up, it's making me go do more research. And the more research I do is like, the more I find brothers, like Puerto Rican brothers that was there, like from day one.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, and even musically, it's making me go dig even more.
Right.
So I'm going back to like World War I, the jazz scene, and I'm like hearing James Reese Europe went to Puerto Rico for the band, for the Hellfighters, Harlem Hellfighters, and when it recruited like 18 members from Puerto Rico.
That's great.
All of them went to I think it was Germany. For World War I, and the more I dig, I'm like, yo, bro, this Puerto Rican everywhere, bro. Like, they're gonna be there somewhere.
Yo, I say it all the time. My hip hop journey took me to Spanish Harlem in the early '90s because I used to rhyme, and the dude that I used to rhyme with, Agent 106, he's half Cuban, half Puerto Rican, and he used to live on 106 in Madison at Lakeview. So his man was G-Bo the Pro. That's how I met G-Bo. I'm 17, 18 years old. G is living on 108th between 1st and 2nd. And I'm going to his crib, and that's hip hop to me.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
the entire Spanish Harlem, all Parlay Clan, Ray, like all of it. So when people have these conversations, and they want to kind of ostracize that part, it's obvious to me that they didn't tour the city. They wasn't somebody that ran around the city.
Exactly.
Because if you was outside and you ran around the city, then you understand. Even in Bushwick, my people's in Bushwick, right? My man Dan, Kyle's husband, lived on Sunnyside, and Miller, he lived over in you know what I'm saying, over there on East New York.
Exactly.
It's Puerto Rican over there.
As long as you've been outside in hip hop, it's always been Puerto Ricans.
It's always been Puerto Ricans outside.
Early, like even when we was outside, even before that.
Right.
You know, and that's why I'm starting to dig a little more. Like I talked to Breakbeat Lou. I see he was on the show.
He was on the show.
He was at Puerto Rock Steady. I got to meet Charlie Chase. I met Prince Whipper Webb. I met the original B-Boy Spy, which is, you know, I'm like, okay, you know. It is what it is, man. Like, you know, you just got to do some more research.
Yeah, but we also got to stop being divisive because that's what they want is for us to have division.
Yeah.
But we didn't grow up with that level of division. That's just not something that happened.
Exactly. Especially coming up getting knowledge itself. That was like,
right.
Like, no, like that was the trick. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
It's the unity.
So when I hear people talking like Fat Joe is supposed to be hosting some award show, and they're like, well, how you got a Puerto Rican hosting at BET? Like, y'all bugging out, man.
It's getting a little out of hand.
Yeah, y'all bugging, man.
But like, I think that's the thing that's online, man. It's not really.
It's not real.
Right.
Like, it's not here.
Right.
It's there.
When you go out, you go outside and like, you know, you see people. Everybody's. It's all love, man. And that's the foundation of hip hop, man. You know what I'm saying? It's love. It's unity. It's just coming together. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that generation broke a lot of like, you know, negative stereotypes or divisions, you know, between communities that might have been at one point, or you know, things are always intermixed with Puerto Rican and the black community.
Yeah, you can't tell me the Young Lords ain't hip hop.
You got Felipe Luciano.
Luciano's not hip hop.
Down with the Last Poets.
Right. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, you know? Come on with that. Kyle, what's up? What we got?
We are T450. Puerto Rican DJs have contributed greatly to the culture since the days of Charlie Chase and the Cold Crush Brothers. Voyeur 77. We grew up in the same neighborhoods, Black and Spanish.
Facts.
So yeah. There's no questions, but I have a question. Like, what was the hardest move for you to master?
Oh man. I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't. I mean, well, I guess when I was b-boying as a young kid, the windmill, trying to do the windmill, it was like, I couldn't get that.
That spin, right?
Second round, I could get into it, do one, and then it's like, oh, like. So, you know. And then, like, also dancing changed, like, you know, because, like, when I was into breaking, like, now 85 is the shift of, from when breaking and B Street and all that, 84, 83, until how the sound of hip hop started changing.
Right.
You know, there's actually hip hop dances called the Pee Wee Herman and the Biz Dance. Like, you know what I'm saying?
The Tyson, the WAP.
Right, exactly.
All that started coming out then. Right.
You know what I mean? So the whole shift happened as far as dancing from, and we were still doing break moves and boogaloo. We were doing it differently, you know?
Yeah. The G-Rocks, he's been rocking with us since the beginning.
G-Rock?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's G-Rock. He used to dance with Poor Righteous Teachers.
Word.
Okay. He's been
that's my brother.
commenting. So, yep, he said he agreed, the windmill.
Oh.
It's like, yep, the
windmill. Yo, this was dope, man. Like, I knew that you had a story. Right, but I also know you kind of laid back, so I was like, I'm gonna have to unearth it.
Yeah.
But this was dope, right, Kyle? This was amazing.
Oh wait, Voyeur 77 has a question. Did your crew SOS hang with other dancers like Kane's crew?
Yeah, we always had respect. Everybody had you know, once we came out, like Schoolman Scratch came out before us, and then Coogee Rap, TCF crew. Those are groups that we looked up to because they was like 88. We're like, wow, we want to be where they are. You know, they're on stage. Like, we're on the dance floor looking up at them. And then to kind of be their peers later on, like, you know what I'm saying, once we got on and they get the respect from them. Plus, yeah, of course, there was and then there was brothers that was with us, like Prance, that before he got with Special Ed, we was all in the club, IBM dancers. They got with Nice and Smooth. Mike Swift as well from IOU joined them. With Nice and Smooth, so many dancers, man, so many dance crews that we were, you know, friendly competition, and we got cool with it, and it was just like we was together because, you know, we should do dances, and we used to get wrecked in a circle, but then we would all to get together and we'll all do the dances together, like, you know what I'm saying, like, you know what I'm saying, we would do this for a little while, then somebody else starts to do something else, then we'll follow him, you know what I mean? Now it's a social thing. Now the whole club is involved because we're doing things that are just like, you know, on a basic level, which with not so much difficulty like as doing a windmill.
Do you think the game misses dances? Because the game don't have dances no more.
The game don't got music to have dances.
The game don't have music to have dances. I agree.
That's true, man. But you know, a lot of the dancers, like, you know, who teach, like Buddhist Dredge, and there's a lot of dance teachers that come from my era that are still teaching, and all their students, man, they're amazing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they know music. There's these girls from the UK, man. I think, oh man, there's the three girls. They remind me of us because they're three, and they rock on all this Tommy Hilfiger. I just posted it in my story. I think it's called Nora. There's three girls' names, but one of them is like Nora something. The other girls' names, they're amazing. Like, you know what I'm saying? This dance is, especially our dance style, like has taken off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Europe, Japan.
Yeah, I feel like it's even more more popular now.
Over there.
Right,
overseas. Yeah, overseas.
Like,
you know, there's like you said, they still dance for really, like Beyonce, like the girls now, like, you know, that hip hop.
But they moved into that R&B space,
right?
And you right, Kai. Like, dancing now is more instantaneous. It's more of that TikTok challenge type thing that everybody does. But what I'm saying is, dancing was fundamental to hip hop when you was coming up. Like, Puba needed dancers to affect what he was trying to give to the public. Exactly. And when you was dancing on stage, people was probably mimicking your steps.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the floor. Like, you was educating them on how to move to the music.
Yeah, exactly. There's
right?
Even, you know, when we used to go back to clubs and when Sadat's like, we were doing, head crack.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're doing a move, and then we go to the club and we see people doing
that at
shit. That point. Like, you know what I mean? So, you know, to slow down. You know what I mean?
Right, because we would like be watching the videos. And sitting there,
right, because again, videos was important to us. Right. Videos translated the culture for us as kids. So we looking at the videos and y'all dancing, y'all doing those dance moves. Exactly. Damn it, that's what we gonna do when we.
Exactly. Right. And that was me before I came out. I'm watching like Steezo with EPMD, like doing the Steve Martin.
Right, the Steezo, like, rest in peace.
I'm like, I'm practicing that at my crib, like, you know.
So like, what's one of your favorite like viral dances, or like dances, you know, or like a dance that had a name, like?
Oh well, you know what I'm saying. You know, the WAP, you know, the Running Man was the one because you could like use it for so many different things. It was like 1, 2, 3, and you could hit it with a free 1, 2, 3, and then jump to the side 1, 2. You know what I mean? There were so many things that came from the Running Man.
Absolutely doing that at the next party. The jump to the side.
You know, then the New Jack Swing came. You know, everybody was Bobby Brown.
Yo, did your moms ever be like, yo, I see the vision, Ty. I see you. You did your thing. Like, Moms is locking you out. Yeah, she's still like, nah, I don't care. Like, I don't care about that shit.
She's still getting on me with things, like, you know what I mean? So, you know,
such is life, man.
You know. But
such is life. Shout out to moms. Nah, it's cool, man. It's cool, man. This was exactly what I thought it would be. This is exactly what I thought it would be. Before we bounce, I just want to give a shout out, and I know we shout her out a lot. I want to give her yet another shout out. April Walker. I'm wearing Walker. She was on. Yeah, she was in the building. Yeah, I'm wearing my Walker Wear joint that I rocked on Saturday. I think I had this on a couple days in a row. So some of y'all that see me in the street, right? It's very comfortable, right? So April was like, "Yo, listen, Marlon, I need you to co-host this fashion show." We did a fashion show at Restoration. The fashion show was amazing. Look, we had Pete Rock's son. We had Milk's daughter.
Wow.
And we had Milk D, and we had an intergenerational shout to Shaw, shout to Monty, MVP, Monty from Hip Hop Closet was doing it, shout to Kenya, and it was an amazing show. But I got such love for April because April will pull like everybody that was in that room. So we did a prayer before we went out, right? Everybody did a prayer. And I looked around, right? Because while everybody got their head down praying, I'm like peeking, looking around, right? And everybody in that room was connected to our tribe in some way or form or fashion. And you don't,
Like, that doesn't happen in that way where you got so many people that are 1 degree of separation from you that are still committed to ensuring that greatness exists in the tribe. It was dope. Like, we killed it, but she gave me this to wear, and I've been wearing it low-key ever since. It's Tuesday. I still got it on. But shout out to April. Thank you for always loving on our tribe. Thank you for always guiding us into greatness. And thank you for the cool-ass sweatsuit. I got it with my twos on. You see the twos, Jay?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, you don't like these two.
This was super fantastic. Great conversation. Proud of you both from Voya 77. And then We Are T450 said there needs to be a hip hop dancer documentary. And people.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a few. You can go check out that one that came out early, which is like, it's called Wreck and Shop. That came out in 91, 92.
Okay.
That's with Mop Tops. That's like the Bible, like that everybody studied that. The kids from Japan, like
They study that shit.
from everywhere. That's because it kind of like captured the time, a moment in time of a hip hop dancer, house dancer in 1992.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
This is great.
It was great.
Kai, come on up, Kai, because they ain't see you last week. We ain't gonna tell them where you was at.
Had to bust a move.
Yeah, you bust a little move. It's a baby move. So look, as usual, every Tuesday we thank you so much for choosing to rock with us at 7 o'clock. You could be doing anything in the world, but you choose to stay with us and rock with us, and we love you for that. Okay. Next Tuesday, we're going to have another impactful guest that's going to tell you another awesome story. I hope somebody's recording these joints because these should be held for prosperity because we are unearthing the stories of hip-hop. Thank you so much, Jay, for coming out. You ain't even got to get back up. You showed them the medal. You ain't got the kicks on today. My sister Kai looking good. Pray first. I like that hoodie. I may get to get one.
Yes, you need it.
Tahleim, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And we'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace and love.
Peace.